on to Chantal's new video. It's 15 minutes long, and it's called Let's Talk Post-Hysterectomy Grief.
Who's this guy who came out of his hiding spot? Hey, Sam?
Okay.
Who's this boy? Yeah. Say hi, Sam. Sam, luckily, has come out of his hiding spot.
I really feel like that wasn't necessary. Yes, we know. That's the bag of them.
Took about 10 hours, but
No.
I cleaned him off. He actually came into the sink, which is really weird. He was panting, and I did look it up, and stress can cause panting, but it should subside. It seems to have subsided. So yeah, and yes, we did bring our own TV. That's the TV that's in our room at home, so that BB can play his game whenever he gets home from work. So that's what he likes to do with his pastime, and you know, this gives home away from home a whole different meaning. So he's in the shower, and Sam is...
I can say that's probably the first time I've ever seen that, but I mean, hey, whatever. It works. Just funny.
finally starting to ease up a bit, and then before you know it, we'll be packing up again for a trip home, which hopefully won't be too traumatizing on the kids. Hey guys, welcome back to this hotel vlog type of thing. I apologize about the lighting. It is not the greatest. I have none of my lighting with me here. So if you're just tuning in, I've decided to change the content of my channel again, and just going to try to do some daily videos for you guys of all kinds of videos. This week alone I have adventure with Pete planned, and some shopping.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call them adventures, but entertaining sometimes. Pete's can be entertaining for sure.
Grocery shopping, what I eat, makeup reviews, just daily living vlogs, stuff like that. Some of them will be titled My 400-Pound Life, as I talk about my journey with weight and battling food addiction and stuff like that. So it's going to be all different things. I'm going to do some cooking, a variety, basically a variety show. Variety train wreck show. So anyways, that's okay. It's okay if my life's a mess right now, because I'm going to be changing that, and I want to document that. There are some subjects I want to talk to you guys about in sit down and talk videos, and since I'm in this hotel with my pets, I thought that I would just take the time to just be reflective and talk a bit. Sam is back in his hiding spot. He did come out, as you saw at the beginning of this video. He came out for a few hours, but he's back. He likes to go back there to sleep, so that's fine. I cleaned it out a bit, and this whole ordeal. I can't wait to go home tomorrow. This hotel's been...
Yeah, I felt so bad for him, poor thing. Hopefully it doesn't traumatize him, too much to where he's always going to be even more skittish. But that definitely has to be hard on him, because he doesn't have any clue what's going on. Oh, sorry. So, I can only imagine.
Really nice and everything, but I do miss home. It's not home. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about grief, and it's something that, knock on wood, I'm not really that familiar with. It's new to me, and I always thought of grief as being related to losing a loved one. I never thought of it as losing anything else. That grief could be attached to losing things that you might not think that they would be. And okay, so here's the story. Just a quick recap if you're new. November 20th, I had a radical hysterectomy, which means they removed both ovaries, uterus, cervix. Wow. Everything's gone. Wow. Thankfully they left the vagina, but everything's
right.
Been healing from the incision since. That's been tough on me. I think back in 2009, I went to a gynecologist. I had my period for 5 months straight, and I really just was like, this is not normal, And who the heck wants their period for 5 months straight, right? Nobody. So I went to a gynecologist.
I'm hoping it didn't take her the whole 5 months before she actually went to see the gynecologist. After about, if she wasn't on any kind of birth control or anything, after about 2 weeks, I would have been like, this is probably something to worry about. When I was on birth control, not TMI, but just, hey, she brought up the subject, but I would get my period for a whole month, and then I would not have it for 2 months, and then I would get it for a whole month. And when I got off, it was almost like that, except that I was getting it every month for like 2 weeks or so. So I was only getting a relief from it for about a couple weeks. And now I only get it for about 5 days, thankfully, because my body had to readjust. But if she wasn't on anything like that, then yeah, I would have been real worried.
In my town where I was living, my hometown, and he just really eventually pawned me off to somebody with more experience because he had no experience with that, with this level of care needed. I had a very large ovarian cyst, and you would think that the gynecologist would be familiar with that, but he thought that.
Okay, to get rid of them, but it didn't work. Yeah, and ovarian cysts are actually fairly normal. People will get them. They're just like, they usually don't cause any issues. My sister actually had some, and she had to have them removed. I think it was ovarian cyst or cervical. I can't remember. I think it was cervical. She had to have those removed just to be on the safe side, and they weren't cancerous or anything, but you can never be too careful.
Seeing somebody who was more specialized in that would be better. So I saw a different gynecologist. We had more tests done, and confirmed that there was a very large mass, and so they were concerned about it, and so he thought surgery would be the best way to get rid of that. And I was even younger back then, so he won, 2009. If I do the math, I'll put it somewhere. I need to calculate. So it'll be funny. So he did a really good surgery. It was bikini cut at the time. He was able to save the ovary. It was only on the one ovary, I think the left one, and everything was good. Everything was good. So then, except that it grew back pretty much right away, and then they hadn't noticed, but another one was growing on my other ovary. So since then, this has been growing and festering, and just this November 20th, I've had them removed, and they got to be quite large, and they were causing all kinds of pain issues. No period, too much period. The doctor thought there's no way that with this issue I would be able to get pregnant. It'd be very unlikely. And, they wanted to biopsy them because of the one that I had previously. They did a biopsy on it, and they were found some precancer cells or abnormal cells. And so the thing with that is I never really wanted to have the surgery because I thought it was something I could heal naturally, which I never really did give a good go at having trying holistic approaches because they take a lot of willpower, which I don't have, and plus I'm a food addict. So there was all those issues that were keeping me from eating clean and, trying to really, really putting some effort into trying to heal these naturally. So eventually I was referred to a gynecologist-oncologist because with anything abnormal, cysts, anything like that, you get referred to a gynecologist-oncologist. So I was referred to a gyno-oncologist, and, they keep saying, well, I understand you're young, there's not really any immediate danger, but, my advice is to have it removed. I can't tell you what to do with your body, but I would, have them removed because they are cause for concern. They started causing me problems. They thought that they were responsible for me having blood clots in my lungs, blood clots in general that travels to my lungs. So there's all these complications, and they wanted to biopsy them to make sure that they weren't.
Yeah, I would say that was probably a good idea, especially if they were that big. They obviously weren't going away. And if it started having them at like 24, and it's 10 years later, you definitely want to get that dealt with.
There was no cancer or anything like that. So I had a hysterectomy, and I figured by the time that I got to the surgery, I had, come to terms with it. And I'm with a man who really wants kids. He wants kids, he wants lots of kids. And I've always been somebody who never really wanted children. I never got that maternal instinct feeling to want to nurture.
Yeah, I feel like if that's the case, that's probably not a relationship that is going to work. Unless you're going to adopt a ton of kids and that's okay with him. But, to me, it seems like you both have, kind of the opposite idea. But, that's something I discuss once I'm with someone for a little bit. That's usually something I know right away because I've met most of the people I've gone on dates with online, and they usually tell you right away whether they want kids. So if there's someone on there that says they don't, then I don't talk to them. Because that's kind of a hard thing. You don't want to force someone to have kids if they don't want to. And you don't want, I know of someone who was in a 10-year relationship with someone, and they kept telling this person, oh, we'll have kids one day, we'll have kids one day, and it never happened. And they basically were in their 40s before they um, left them, and I don't think they ever ended up having kids at all, even with new relationships.
Child. I didn't particularly like being around children. They made me anxious. I don't know why, but I just wasn't somebody who really liked children. I mean, I found babies cute, and some children. I mean, it's not like I don't hate children or anything like that. I do like children, but I just didn't really think that. And plus, like with my mental health, with long time sufferer of depression, I didn't think that I was in any real state of mind to be able to raise a child, and in physical health too. I mean, like I can barely take care of myself right now. So I've come to terms with that. I thought, well, this is what's meant to be. You know, maybe I'm just not meant to have children. I'll feel so much better with these big cysto, because they ended up like weighing, I think like 7 pounds, like total or something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but they were huge, like the size of mini watermelon. So that in your abdomen, it's displacing all your other organs, and it's, so basically, I had the surgery, and I just thought, okay, I'm okay with it. And I was at first, and then just recently, when I've been away from making videos, I've just been, my mental health has just been really declining, and I found that all of a sudden, like I was watching a movie, and this, anytime I would see a movie or a TV show, basically when a woman would have a baby or a child, and I just, it was like they were happy, they were a new family, they were building a family, and I realized that that's not something I'll ever get to do. I'll never get to give my, the man I love any children. So that hit hard. And
I can absolutely understand that, because, like, it's one thing to not want kids, but no, you could have them if you did want them. But it's another thing altogether to then find out you can't have kids. And now you're, like, rethinking, like, well, do I really want kids? Have I ever really wanted kids? Like, it's really hard to just be told you can't do something, no matter what. So I absolutely understand that. I mean, honestly, you could still always go like the surrogate route and find someone else, like if he wants biological kids. I mean, there's other options. There's also womb, well, the ovaries are gone. I don't think that's gonna help, but I know now they're doing this, women have gotten pregnant with someone else's womb inside of them. I don't know what they call that, womb transplant. I mean, so there are many ways to, like, nowadays, to give someone children. It just depends on whether, number one, he wants to have children with you specifically, and number two, whether he's willing to do some of those things as well as, well, of course, you both have to want the same thing. So
part of me was like, I wish I could rewind. I wish I could go back and do things differently or something. It's just like this big chunk of, I'm 35, so I could still definitely have children if I wanted to, if I had my reproductive organs and there were no issues. So I'm dealing with these emotions that, I didn't think I'd have to do, and I'm actually looking into grief counseling because I don't know how to deal with these emotions. I feel like they're normal, but I would like maybe some professional help with that. So I guess where the grief comes in is grieving for something that's gone, a part of me that's taken away, something that I'll never get the choice to do. I'll never have the choice. Just having the choice. If I want to start a family down the line, like my thoughts could change, everything could change, your life could change. I could get completely healthy and want a family, and I feel like I'll be alone with cats. But I know that you can adopt and everything like that. But it is an option. But it's just the idea of continuing your bloodline, having that blood bond with the like in utero bond, I guess you would call it, with making your own baby, and that's an experience that I'll never get to have. And it feels like, I don't know. It's I'm left with feeling the aftermath of it, that these emotions I never thought I would have ever. And I don't even really know if I even want kids. It's just the choice has been completely taken away from me, and I feel guilt. I feel like it's something that I've done, and I feel like dealing with that guilt is very hard, because
I definitely don't think you should feel any guilt. You had no control over the cysts. I mean, that's just what your body did. And like, no matter the reasoning for it, it's like, that's just how it is. But I definitely think a grief counselor would be a good idea. because that can be hard. That's something that you've never had to deal with before. Um, it is hard when the choice is taken from you. So I understand that absolutely.
You really realize, I saw a meme where it's like this bird looking in the mirror, and it's like when you finally see the person who's been ruining your life, and it's like a reflection of itself. And that's like me. It's like anything that's happened in my life I've done to myself, and I know that it's the past, and I have to try to just move on and make things better, and try to move on with love in my heart and positivity in my mind, and just keep trying to build something else. Yeah, so there's been a lot of things that I won't get to do in life, and there's also grieving because there's a lot of things I didn't get to do in life because I've been so fixated on nothing but food. And I think that's the hardest part of changing, overcoming the addiction to food, is that you're in this prison, you're this slave to food, for my whole life, like literally, and especially my whole adult life. So the hardest part is just building a new life without food, like finding things to give you fulfillment that you thought food was giving you, and it's really not. And it's just, getting this instant gratification from food versus plowing through the tough times and getting gratification down the line from.
Yeah, and see, for me, I've never used food for comfort. Like, it's not really I mean, as far as I can tell, it's not an emotional thing. It's just, like I said, I eat when I'm bored. Sometimes, and then, like, I get cravings, so I have the cravings, but definitely keeping myself busy has helped. Thinking about all the hikes I'm going to be going on, and the people I'm going to meet, and things I'm going to get to do, that has definitely helped. But yeah, I know she can get past this, and I hope that she does, and I hope that the healing process can begin, because no matter what we think of Chantal, like, that sucks. That really sucks, Her situation sucks, and, hopefully there aren't going to be people trying to blame her, because no matter what, yeah, like she said, obesity can, be a factor, but so what? We all make mistakes in our life, you could be eating, like, people talk about red dye number 40 or something like that. It's like, that could cause cancer. It's like, so if you liked cherry flavored candies or whatever has that dye in it, and then you get a cancer that might be associated with that dye, are you going to blame yourself? It's like, no. Like, the thing is that there are a lot of obese people that get pregnant. Amy's life journey. She's got, or is Amy? Her and Jen, A Life by Jen and Amy's Life Journey. Okay, because they both have life in their name, so I always forget which order. But yeah, Amy has 2 babies that she gave birth to, and she's heavier than Chantal. So, blaming yourself does no good. And blaming her does no good, in this situation. Because no matter what, she's right. This is a grieving process she's now having to go through. Yeah, it sucks.
Sticking to your guns and getting healthy, it's just the light at the end of the tunnel is so bright and rewarding, but the tunnel is so dark and treacherous. And that's something that, I, as well as many others, are struggling with. And yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you about the grieving part. So I am in the process of grieving, because it is a loss. It is a loss, and I'm just trying to overcome that, adapt to my new body, which is, oh my God, the menopause has not been kind, I gotta say. I've just been really emotional. So it's just weird changes to your body, hot flashes, so many things that...
Honestly, I didn't even think about that. And she said it. I'm like, yeah, 'cause she doesn't have her ovaries, so her body's now having to adjust to that. But I assume they put her on estrogen or some kind of pill to help sort of counterbalance it a little bit. But yeah, that's... Ugh. I dread having to go through menopause. And I've got maybe 10 years or less, depending on if my body decides to do it early before I end up going through menopause. So I can't even, not looking forward to it.
I mean, I have an appointment with menopause clinic. It's like a specialist doctor who deals with menopausal women, and we're going to be discussing hormone therapy, which there's pros and cons to hormone therapy, and I'll get more into it in another video. There's some topics I would like to talk about that. I want to talk about also talk about my experience with the menopause clinic, and I want to talk about my work history, because it really, I know it shouldn't, but it bothers me when I see people comment that, because I'm fat, I'm lazy, and because I'm not working right now because I'm doing YouTube, and because I'm trying to work on my health.
YouTube's not the reason you're not working. That's just something that may be impossible to do at this weight, or that you're just not wanting to do, which is fine. Like YouTube, if you're making enough money to sustain yourself, awesome. But like, to blame YouTube, like, yeah, YouTube's not the reason.
I've never worked in my life, and I'm living off the government. I've never ever lived off the government, except for maybe employment insurance which I paid into when I was working, whenever I had lost a job, and that was rare. So, or like maybe once or twice. So I wanted to just kind of talk about like my entire work history at some point, and the struggles that I went through near the end because of.
I just ever think too, because she's Canadian, like they pay so much in taxes that they should be able to, get some of that back if they need it, like with government assistance and stuff like that. Because it's crazy. I mean, I get it. It all goes towards, their free healthcare and that sort of thing, which I think is awesome. And maybe one day the U.S. will figure out a way to do free healthcare that works for everyone. I don't know. But yeah, I don't fault her for that.
My declining health and stuff like that. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned tomorrow for an adventure with me. Bye.
Ooh, the sound on that went a little weird. Okay, I don't need to play that last part, this part. For some reason, the sound like drives me a little nuts, so. But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel for her no matter what. Like, I want children. I always have. I'm older than she is by about a year, depending on when her birthday is. And like, I've made the choice so far not to have children. Doesn't mean I don't want them in the future. So if that were to something similar like that were to happen to me, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I'd have to get past it, but it would be incredibly devastating. So I understand. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I don't want to be like one of those people that begs for that, but sometimes when I watch a video, when someone says, like my video, if you can, that reminds me to like it, because I don't always remember to do it. I'm just in the moment of watching their videos, so I just like to remind people. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's not like I'm forcing you, but if you would like to and you enjoyed this, please do. I appreciate it. Thank you.